On this episode, I am going to help you organize your runs to maximize your results. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 91 of the Foundation First Fitness Show with Babak Owen. Today, we are going to be talking running. So, jumped out of this, coming back into it a bit. I know there was last week we spoke about knee pain when you run. Spoke a bit about we had nutrition talk last time. Actually, episode 90 was a nutrition talk. I had a guest on. It was a great episode. If you haven't checked that out, definitely check that out after. Episode 90 was unbelievable. Probably one of my favorite episodes we've ever done. The video quality was kind of shoddy because we did it over chat, but for some reason I didn't take the time to really figure out the switching of back and forth, like going between seeing her, seeing me, seeing her, seeing me, and then the quality was just down a bit. So I have to work on that and pick it up for the next one we're doing. But we will be getting some guests on shortly. When it comes to running, today what I really want us to focus on, and I want us to maybe take some time out to think about, is how are we exploring different forms of running? So are we only going for those long distance runs, or are we changing things up, and why you should do either of those? When it comes to running, one of the things that really is interesting for me is the mileage. A lot of us we're either trying to run right now because we're in quarantine, we don't have access to going to a gym, or we're at home a lot trying to get some time to get away, clear our minds, get some activity in. Some of us, this is the time we go out and start running. Weather's starting to change. Today's a nice sunny day. For a change, it's a little cold, it's a little on the brisk side, but it's still sunny. And so we're trying to get out and get some things done. So it's really challenging to know what you should be doing in terms of mileage. And I've spoken about this in prior episodes, but I think I want to clear a bit up and kind of describe a little bit about how you should handle it. When it comes to running, now that we have more time, this is when you should really start taking advantage of that time to really be able to separate and organize your runs a little bit better. The first thing I will tell you is when it comes to building up the pace of it and building up, I guess, your repertoire and your capacity to run for long distances, I will say that the one thing you should do is try to balance everything out. Try to keep it as close to what you've normally been doing as possible. So if you normally don't run, don't start running 10 kilometers. 10 kilometers and 0 kilometers are very far apart. You want to start with something a little more into the ranges of 2-3 kilometers at top, and then working our way up to 5, 6, 7, plus to 10 if you need to. If you only have time for short periods of run, I wouldn't say 10 kilometers. I know I've got asked this the other day. If someone had time to, is it better to do one 10K every 2 weeks, or 1K every week, or is it better to do 2 5s? To be honest with you, 2 5s. There's no question. Yes, in terms of endurance, the intensity is going to have to be down because you're going to have to be lasting a lot longer. So the 5, you're going to be higher intensity. You're going to be running a little bit quicker. Your pace is going to be up. But in terms of cardiovascular wise, the benefit is not really going to be as much of an impact as it would in terms of how much damage is going to be done to your body. So yes, your total volume over the week is the same, but it's spread out. So that initial hit that you're taking is going to be a lot lower. So that's where I think you should maybe pay attention. Spread it out a little bit more. Give yourself some time to rest. I know now that a lot of us are, we don't have a lot of home workouts are basically just body weight stuff, some little elastics, some equipment that we had lying around the house for years that we're just trying to dust off and use. Some of us have a full-fledged gym. Some of us have a lot of equipment. But if you are just trying to get runs in just to stay healthy, remember, spread them out as much as you can. Get some time in between those days as well to really work that out. That's really important. And the reason I say that is that a lot of us, we resort to running because it's easy. It's not easy itself, but I'm saying there's not much equipment required. You just need running shoes and some exercise attire, and you're basically good to go. So it becomes really interesting to do because you seem to get a lot of results from it. You feel better, you get a sweat on, you feel better throughout your day, you feel like you did something, you got something done that was going to be productive and healthy and good for you. So I really want to make sure we maintain that, and the way to maintain that is really spread that out. If you are a seasoned runner, so if you've been running a lot, one of the things you might want to explore is intervals. You know, a lot of running coaches will not use intervals, talking about, you know, the higher intensity, how it goes up too high, it doesn't replicate what you're doing. I like the higher intensity stuff. I favor running, and I don't want to speak for all coaches. You know, everyone has their own beliefs and their own systems. So it's just like training. Everyone has their own beliefs and systems. What I like to do is I prefer the interval stuff. I prefer trying to push up the pace a bit and try to really push that threshold a little bit higher. And that's how I like to do it. And the other thing is that you can lower the amount of impact on your body because you're running at a much closer mechanical movement towards sprinting, which is a lot more natural. Jogging, one of the things I've noticed is that when people do jogging is the first thing that everyone does is they start like trotting, like it's a slow trot, and they're trotting and braking with their heels. So their heels in front of them when they're landing. So they're landing either almost full, like complete foot, or they're landing with a bit of their heel in front of them, and they're going heel toe, heel toe. Even when you're sprinting, you don't go heel toe. The only time you're supposed to be going heel toe is when you're walking. That's literally the only time. Outside of walking, the thing that really separates walking and running is two things. One, both feet are leaving the ground at one point in time. The second thing is that your mechanics of where you hit the ground should change. Your toe should be hitting the ground, not your forefoot, not your heel. So a lot of times when I tell people is that tilt forward and pick up those legs. So if you are a seasoned runner, actually if you're even a beginning runner, if you're new to running, try to keep that mechanic as close as you can to sprinting, in terms of bringing your knee up, hitting the ground with your toe, really striking it properly, not heel striking. The biggest mistakes I've seen people do when they're running, it is so bad for you, so detrimental. Chances of you hurting your back, your knee, your foot, what's it called? Plantar fasciitis, shin splints, all that stuff. Just mechanics it really comes down to mechanics. So if you are a seasoned runner, try focusing on that. That will definitely help improve the way you run. I just put up something. It's coming out. Second episode, the second part is coming out today. Actually, just released today. It's going to be released today. So if you're listening to the podcast comes out a little bit early for those of you who know. Podcast is out at about 6:30 a.m. Every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Now we're up to 3 episodes a week. That's right. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. The YouTube version comes out midday, so around noon, 12:30. So if you are watching this on YouTube, the Move Better Monday segment should have probably come out by now. And you'll be able to see it if you're listening to podcasts. It's probably going to come out around like 10 or 11 if I'm not mistaken. And you guys are going to be able to watch the second part of my How to Master Home Workouts. Even though it says Master Home Workouts, it's really about mastering the basics and basic mechanics and how to really control your body. This is something that's just super beneficial for runners. So when we look at what to change and how to build pace and how to build, volume and what you should be doing to understand your volume, I think one of the things that you should be doing is not only just looking at from the volume side and looking at how often you are running and how long you are running and how you're splitting it up, but also pay attention to spending a little bit of time in the weight room. I'm quotations bunny ears here, weight room, and spend some time working on some of that stability stuff, the foot stuff, the hip bridging stuff, all the stuff that I'm gonna be posting in those segments on How to Master Home Workouts. Great for helping you really understand how to control your body. And especially in a time like this today when we don't really have access to, major gyms, it's going to be great for us to really take the step back and build on that properly. And this is one of the ways to do that. So that is what I think you should be doing in terms of mileage. It's going to be helping you with your knee, helping you with shin splints, helping you with all the pain. It's also going to be helping reduce the amount of initial and basically that high increase in volume all at once, that surge and increase in volume. I know a lot of people do that a lot. That's very common that I see in runners, or usually people that come in here with knee pain from running. They'll say like, well, I just started and I just banged out like 10 kilometers. I'm like, well, what are you doing? Why would you do 10 kilometers? That's quite a bit. I'm like, no, I did that last year. Have you run since last year? No. That's usually not a great idea. So you want to take that down a notch, bring it down to 3s and 4s, and then eventually crank it up, or even split it off to days. And honestly, like it's it's not gonna be detrimental to your performance. So if you're thinking about marathons and being able to run that marathon, or being able to run at a better pace, or do more runs, longer runs, this is not going to be detrimental to that. In fact, the complete opposite would. Running at high volumes early on and too frequently will be detrimental to your performance. You know, we have to think about it like this. It's something that I tell my hockey players all the time. They come off from the off season and they're starting to work out, and they want to work out like 6-7 days a week. And it's just not the best idea. You know, you spend the entire season away from the gym for the most part. Not, you know, you train, but your trainings are usually a lot lighter because of the load of the season. So because of that, you want to slowly creep your way back into it. And at the same time, their off season is only 3 or 4 months. So being able to support a heavy load and that high intensity for multiple days, I don't recommend it. I prefer rest, which is the same thing I'm recommending for you guys. Rest is your weapon. So if you are going to be if you are going to do anything, split your workouts up, make them make your runs shorter, and sprinkle in some weight training in there to be able to manage that. Last little thing, actually, last little post. Should you be working out before or after your runs? Working out should always be done after your runs. I know a lot of people say that. They say like, oh, you should never, your workout should always be done after your runs. The reason why I want you to do your workouts after your runs is because if you are running, there is a higher chance that if you're fatigued from your workout, it's going to reflect inside your runs, and that's where your mechanics are going to break down, because you're going to be sloppy just trying to get through it. Whereas in the workout, you're probably going to be a little bit more attentive to the technique. So you want to make that flip. So if you have been working out before your runs and finishing your workout with runs, don't flip them around. Make sure you're doing your runs first, then do your workouts. It doesn't mean don't warm up. You should warm up properly. You should do all the stuff that we've spoken about. Instagram clips, I've been peddling these things at you guys for the better part of 2 years now. If you are doing some stuff like that for running, definitely do it. On that note, if you guys have any questions, question of the day, I can't believe I forgot that. Question of the day is, how long do you run each time you go running? And do you feel pain after that run? So how long do you go running? Do you feel pain after that run? So get that question going in the discussion board. Shoot out a message. Let me know how long. Let me know what is basically going on that side. And hopefully everyone's still staying safe, keeping a nice safe distance, and respecting some of those rules. You know, I don't want to. I think I'm preaching to the choir here, and I think I'm just beating a dead horse when I say dead dog, dead horse, whatever it is. When I say, you know, the only way we're really going to get through this quarantine time is if we respect the rules as best as possible and keep the distancing at an all-time high. Until that next time, guys, which will be very shortly in 2 days, keep building that foundation. Take care.